So, shall we begin? He's just spoken of the oblivion, the darkness that keeps on wiping off all the wisdom, all the progress that mankind has made. It's like night repeating itself again and again and wiping off every light, every day, every discovery over and over again. So all that was destroyed must be rebuilt and old experience labored out once more. And then you feel that then there is a kind of, there's no progress. We are in the same rut. We rise in order to fall. We gain in order to lose. There has to be some breakthrough, something that comes only with some greater intervention. That is what Mother keeps on speaking about. A special intervention that breaks the routine, customary pattern. Just like ourselves, we also have fallen into a customary mode of being, thinking, of getting, of losing, of accepting ourselves the way we are, so that we are mediocre. We have a certain amount of darkness that remains, even though when we are looking ahead towards the light, something has to be completely wiped off. That pull towards the dark, the ignorance, the failure. And that is a hope. A hope is like a light in the distance. A hope is not something that is in front of us. A hope is far away, but it pulls us, it draws us. It's a promise of something that can be, that will be, though all that is happening may seem contrary to it. Therefore, it starts in a very small way. A little light at the end of the tunnel, you might say. And so you have this beautiful line, a hope stolen that hardly dared to be. A tiny little light quietly coming in without being very, very obvious. Very slight. And this is how the new light comes, in a very small flame. There's a sketch by the Mother of a tiny little flame surrounded by whole circles of darkness and inertia. But inside there is a little flame. This flame has to grow into a blaze, and that is what gives a certain clear direction to your life. So a hope stolen that hardly dared to be. So it's a small light amid the night's forlorn indifference. Because night is an absence of response. It's dark. Is it happy to be dark? He's used the word forlorn. Forlorn is lonely and unhappy, as if night itself is unhappy to be night, and yet doesn't know how to change. Man is unhappy to be man, perhaps always a slave of failure and death. And yet there is somewhere a flame, a hope, a dream of a greater age, a greater humanity, a greater manifestation, which we don't see around us, but we dream about it. It is there. It starts in a very small way. Because night is all powerful, darkness and ignorance and ego and all this is there. But this whole tiny little suggestion that perhaps night is not happy to be night. Even in the heart of night there is somewhere a wanting of breaking the night. That's where it comes from. The change comes from the heart of darkness. The change does not come from only above, it comes from below. It comes from within. Within, below, there is failure, there is darkness, there is error, there is pain. But there is also an absence also of response, indifference. One of the worst possible things. When you're totally insensitive, you don't even respond. When there is calm, it's not quite indifference. When there is pain, it means you're asking for joy somewhere. Otherwise, you wouldn't feel pain. When you feel you are ignorant and you don't like your ignorance, somewhere you have perhaps some connection with light. That's why you say, I can't stay like this. But when there is indifference, there is a lack of response in the nature. We accept ourselves the way we are and say, this is how we are. We cannot be different, we can't be other than we are. There is a sense of acceptance of our darkness. In that indifference, there is the beginning, in spite of that indifference, the beginning of a new promise. In man, who is also quite accustomed to his, you might say, mediocrity and ignorance and darkness, there is this little light that is present always. It is up to us to feed the flame. The flame has to be fed. Then the light can grow. But in the beginning, it's still a very small light. So you have this very beautiful sentence that follows. As if solicited in an alien world, with timid and hazardous instinctive grace, orphaned and driven out to seek a home, an errant marvel with no place to live, into a far-off nook of heaven, there came a slow, miraculous gesture's dim appeal. So there is the beginning of something different. Main sentence is, there came in a far-off nook of heaven a miracle, a miraculous gestures, just a little movement that breaks the light. The rest is imagery. We'll go back to that. This new presence of light, new manifestation, is not yet a manifestation, it's a promise. She has come like a person who is entering into a world that is foreign to her. She's a being of light. Our world of darkness is alien to her, and yet she's coming in. Somewhere this world of darkness has called her. Somewhere, just like every day it happens in the eastern sky, dawn comes in a very, very delicate, subtle manner. Just like we also can slowly change from within, quietly. We don't realize that something is happening and we are changing. Then at some point that change becomes evident, but it takes a long time. So here you have solicited. Solicited is called. As if she is called, she is begged by this world that is alien to her. This world of darkness has had enough of darkness. She wants different, something new, something beautiful, something less dim. So there comes this new presence. This is the hope. As if solicited in an alien world. But she's coming into a foreign world, a foreign land. So she is timid. And that little presence, that tiny little flame, that little bit of hope, is still timid and hazardous. She doesn't know exactly where, how to proceed. It's full of obstacles, full of difficulties. Each time, like in us, You want to change because you have had enough of being what you are, but you don't know how to change. You don't know where to just start from. There are so many things inside that are still plunged in opposition to light, that are quite accept their dullness, their dimness. One part in me or you does not accept this. He said, no, this I have to root out. But I've lived with this defect or this incapacity from the beginning of time, not only this life. I've grown out of darkness. This is my origin. How can I suddenly root out all this ignorance out of my nature? And yet man has always had this dream of a beautiful world, of a beautiful light, of a beautiful light. Beautiful not according to his known definition of what is pleasant to him. Something new, something that will no longer be connected with the past, something that will open him to a new illumination. And he has never found a way of establishing it. There are perhaps moments of revelation, moments of intuition, moments of vision. They have come, they have gone, they don't last. There are flashes. And because these flashes do come now and then, man knows that these new lights do exist. But why can't we hold on to them? Why do they leave? Somewhere there has to be a call from within, from below. If there is light, please come and don't go away. Because we do, with the help of the divine grace, we do have moments of beautiful joy and love and light. But why don't they last? We can't hold on to them. Our being has not been made ready to establish, to found this new light within us. So she comes, obviously she is naturally beautiful. This new, described as a beautiful maiden who is coming in a world that is totally indifferent to her, orphaned and driven out to seek a home. She's come away from her original home of light. Why has she come away? Or has she been pushed away? As if in the world of pure light, this being who is, no, I won't be able to speak, coming to establish the truth of the world she is familiar with. She is familiar with the world of pure light. Here, there is no pure light, there is a mixed world. But she has to establish a home because she has been sent down, and this is what the avatar is. The avatar also is sent down from his or her original home into a world that is foreign to her. The mother has come down into our world of darkness. If she had not come down, she would have just been a guide floating above our heads and telling us from above what to do and how to be. But she has come down into an alien world, alien to her essential nature. She is pure, she is light, she is truth, she is beauty, she is love. Here everything is mixed. And yet why has she had to come? Because unless she comes down, the lower nature will not be able to change. So here it is the image of somebody who has been almost pushed down. The divine consciousness has pushed down this grace, sent it down, obliged her to establish a home here, to make this earthly tenement her house. This earthly world of nature is not a very beautiful house. It's a tenement. It's ugly. It's dirty. To make it her house, to make it perfect, to make it marvelous. But she is, in the beginning, not accustomed to this kind of life. If you read mother's stories also, when she first came as a little child, she used to wonder, so often she has said, why are people like this? Why do they tell lies? Why do they not believe in something higher? Why do they accept the world as it is? What is wrong with this world? In her, even as a child of 5, 6, this thing that she did not quite fit in. This is the person who is the beginning of a new light. She is the bringer of light. Savitri is also just that, a daughter of light. But this child of light, in the beginning it's a child because it's the first expression of dawn, is the first expression of the sun. It's a small, you might say, first signs of a new age or a new beginning. Into a far off nook of heaven. As if she's still timid, she's not coming out as a blaze. Just a little beginning, like a little baby. There came a slow, miraculous gestures, dim appeal. The miracle, the presence of light in a world that is not only dark, but quite accustomed to being dark. We are not only imperfect and ignorant and death-bound, we've accepted that as natural. And therefore, to accept that it is not natural, that it is possible to be different, is a miracle. The promise of light in a world that is really always wrapped up in darkness and self-satisfaction. The most dangerous thing is this acceptance of oneself the way one is. There is no need then to change. Yes, I am like this. Yes, I am quite habituated to my defects. So why should I change? I am quite comfortable with them. This has to be broken. A little crack in that wall of resistance. It is a miracle. And then slowly through that little fissure, that little crack, the light pours in. The grace is always there, but the resistance is also there. It's just like one of the talks of the mother, that you are surrounded by light. You are surrounded by grace. You cannot breathe and live if there was not the grace. But you have locked yourself up in your little egoistic house, closed every door, every window, every chink, every keyhole, nothing allowing in your being, nothing allowing that light to come in. The moment there is a slight opening, it comes rushing in. That opening is required from below, from within. Earth has to open. The grace is coming down. So when that opening begins, if there's a little, then you say something, I can see something, I can feel something. It's beautiful, it's new. And so you get transfigured. Transfiguration is not really transformation. Transfiguration is a change from the less beautiful to the more beautiful, from the lesser to the greater. And we have that. We can become more wonderful, more beautiful when we allow that influence of light and beauty to illumine our lives. If we open to that, then everything becomes beautiful. And that comes again and again. It comes every day. It's like saying it's like a cycle. Dawn comes every day. The call is always there. Why do we turn our backs to it? Every night we turn our backs to it. This is why this cycle goes on. So the title is a symbol dawn. It's not a description only of the physical dawn, which also is true. It's the coming of the sun. But before the coming is the announcer. There is a greater light that is coming. All ancient texts would always come with the hymn to Usha, a new light, a new dawn, a new possibility, a new manifestation. But somewhere we, after a while, we can't stay open for too long. The dullness, the habitual, customary state of being incapable of constant aspiration, incapable of opening ourselves all the time. We fall back and we get used to that. So again and again that being comes, again and again that being works a little, opens a little, something happens, then it withdraws. But when it comes, there is a thrill. So now it is coming, there is a dawning. So we realize that this dawning is not only outside, it's a dawning inside us. The whole point of this canto is just that. The change is within, the dawning is within. The dawning is as well outside, it belongs to the whole universe. The earth has to open to the light. Man has to open to the light. All things have to open to the light. All things take their time. They get accustomed to falling back into darkness and error, including man, the most conscious of all creatures. And so consciously he turns his back to the light. The persistent thrill of a transfiguring touch persuaded the inert black quietude. Quietude, yes, but it is inertia. There are two kinds of calm. There is the calm where one is above all disturbance, on a higher level of consciousness. There is the calm where one is below all sensitivity. One doesn't respond at all. One is in a state of inertia. Therefore, that is tamas. And we are much more comfortable in that state of tamas than in that state of a higher light and truth and illumination. The persistent thrill of a transfiguring touch persuaded the inert black quietude. So it requires persuasion. You see how much trouble the avatar takes, how much trouble Mother and Sri Aurobindo have taken to persuade us. They come down on our plane, in our world, talk our language, take up our nature, and keep on persuading. They don't only guide from above, from beyond. And this is the infinite grace. The return of the grace, the symbol dawn is the return of the grace, the return of the manifestation of the grace. The grace is always there. But we can be persuaded to open our eyes, open our hearts, open our beings, and recognize the play of that grace. And beauty and wonder disturbed the fields of God. Beauty is always there, but it disturbed the inertia. When you open, you recognize how much is there. Beauty is a manifestation of the divine in the world of form. Wonder is something that is beyond our understanding. That's why you use the word. It is not something logical, something that is beyond the mind, that is beyond our daily life. At every step, disturb us. The fields of God is this world of time and space. All things happen in the world of time and space. Space is the field of all expression. Time is the field of all change. You recognize change because of time. Or you realize that time is that which makes you yesterday and tomorrow and all these movements of change that take place. So one is a movement of, that is the expansion of the field of possibilities opening before us, and time telling the changes that can take place in the course of these possibilities. And man is exposed to this. He does not have to stay man. We don't have to stay the way we are. We have to be disturbed. We have to be shaken out of our sense of self-complacency and satisfaction and say, we don't have to remain the way we are. Earth does not have to remain in this state of constant half light and half darkness. Half the time we are in the dark and the other half we are in the light. Why should we divide? We are expressions of the divine. The universe has been created by the Supreme. Why then is the Supreme not manifested? Or we don't perceive that manifestation. We have blocked ourselves, we have closed our eyes, we have closed our natures. He is there. We don't see him. And then we say he is not there. Light is there. You closed your eyes and you say everything is dark. So it is this change of consciousness that is required. If you change our consciousness, you will see things you didn't see before, which were always there. And so that gentle love and grace and compassion, which is really implied in the word persuasion. It's not a blow. It's a gentle persuasion, like a touch of a mother. He's using the image of the mother. A wandering hand of pale, enchanted light that glowed along a fading moment's brink. So the light is coming gradually and the hand is pushing away the darkness that is slowly moving away. It's fading away. Fixed with gold panel, an opalescent hinge, a gate of dreams, ajar on mystery's verge. So you have the gorgeousness of a new birth, a new manifestation, a change like within you when you have realized that you are becoming slowly a different person. There is a sense of the marvelous. I'm no longer the same. I can feel things within me. I'm opening to the light. Just like the earth, when the new light comes around 6 o'clock in the morning, gradually the grey sky becomes gold and orange and flame. The sun has not yet risen, but it is an announcer, a herald. The dawn is like a herald, announcing that the new presence is there. It is new, but it is always permanent. The sun never moves. The sun doesn't go away. We have moved away. We turn back to the sun. We realize it is there. So it is as if a door is opened. The door of our resistance is opened. The door of our earthly resistance, which is the symbol of night. Door of our inner resistance, which is the symbol of our ignorance and unwillingness. At some point, if that door can be made to open, all the glory of the divine consciousness slowly begins to manifest. And so, a gate of dreams, ajar on what is beyond, what is greater. We don't even know what is the glory of the dawn itself is so beautiful. What is behind that new avatar of a greater light, of a greater tomorrow? Because that is the evolutionary change. This symbol dawn is also a symbol of evolution. For a long time, the earth does not only accept to revolve, it is revolving around the sun. It has to evolve. It has to make a new circuit. Man has to evolve and not repeat his journey in the same circuit. Move on to another circuit. That possibility is there because it is waiting from within. That is the whole image of the involution. From within we have the possibilities. At some point we get disturbed by a touch of light because that inner light wakes up. It is there waiting. But it will not emerge unless we allow it to come. The meeting of what is hidden inside us, if we remove the outer resistances, it can come out and manifest, express itself because of that light and grace and beauty that is there around us, above us. So this is really the process of human nature, of human evolution, to grow out of what we are now into what we can become, because that what we can become is already latent inside us and has been put within us long before we started our journey. And so this dawning of towards a new experience, a new stage of our journey, because the whole universe is on a journey. It's a journey of consciousness. To move slowly from darkness to light, from inconscience to consciousness. This journey is not smooth. It's not necessarily straightforward, because the resistance and the tamas have lasted so long, it has become really as if it has laid its claim on our nature, and we say we are mortal. We are not perfect. We don't dare to say what we are. The seed of perfection is inside me, because I am created by the divine perfect being. So why do I accept myself as imperfect in a permanent manner? I can become less imperfect. I can grow if I open myself. So the whole process of opening, slowly a gate of dreams comes in front of me. At first, night becomes twilight. Twilight slowly opens to a new dawn. One lucent corner. It starts in one corner of the sky, in one corner of my heart, in one corner of earth's, any place in the earth, even if there is one person somewhere on the earth who is willing to become an instrument of the divine. He is the leader of men. He is one who brings a kind of a promise, a new promise. So if you read all the ancient texts and scriptures, you will find references to sages, rishis, not just avatars, those who are ahead of the others, those in whom the call is stronger, the need is more insistent, urgent. They are not many, they are the few. We speak of the Vedic age, the Vedic rishis, but they were a handful. The rest of the people in the country were still absolutely drowned in ignorance. It cannot be all suddenly wake up. Just like everybody doesn't wake up at the same time physically in the morning. There are moments that are felt from within that it's time I got up. And I have to get out of my dullness, I have to get out of my sleep, I have to get out of my ignorance, I have to get out of my imperfection. That need comes at different times, different people, some ahead and in front of the others. So dawn touches those people first. Like the top in the human cycle, he speaks of the mountain peak that catches the sunlight long before it touches those who are sleeping in the valley. They don't see the sunlight for a very long time. But those who are on the upper slopes see it after those who are on the top, and then those on the upper slopes. Gradually it spreads. Gradually the change is felt by all. So one lucent corner, it starts in one corner, windowing hidden things, forced the world's blind immensity to sight. Forced that blindness, which is something which is a form of refusal. I will not turn to the light. I will not open my eyes to the divine. I will refuse because I am so satisfied with being myself. The ego is a huge, big wall. it is something that blocks the opening to the light. At some point it breaks, and that is when the darkness failed and slipped like a falling cloak from the reclining body of a God. So you realize that darkness is not a fundamental reality, it's only a cloak. All creation is divine. Matter is divine. Life is divine. Mind is divine. What else can it be? It is the creation of the divine. But there are layers of refusal, of unconsciousness, of ignorance, of ego, and unwillingness. All these things are like cloaks. They are like sheets with which we wrap ourselves and prefer to stay in the dark. But it is not a fundamental reality. And this may be a kind of a promise. Because basically, this poem is a poem that is written as a battle between death and Savitri. That is to say, light and darkness, or darkness and light. But if darkness is only a cloak, then is there death? Or is it what we accept as reality because we do not want to recognize the truth? We have closed our eyes to the truth. We have failed to become embodiments of the truth. That is why we fall. That is why there is death. If we do not fail, if our allegiance is to the divine and to the force that is at work, the Divine Mother is that force, then there can be no death. There can be no ignorance. But we have not given that allegiance. We are not loyal to her. And so the earth has turned away, man has turned away, we have accepted darkness as final, and so it remains. But a moment comes when we don't want it anymore, so we take off the sheet. And it's this duality that is our problem. We are tied or attached to both. At this point, the darkness fails. And the whole field becomes an expression of the body of God. All this is the body of God. It has always been described as the body of God, earth. Earth is body, earth is matter. And matter is the projection of the divine force in something that is condensed. Life does not have the condensation. Matter is condensed, dense, inert, because it is unaware. But if you take away the inertia, it is a solid expression of the divine. And so matter is God. Matter is spirit. So if there is a rift, then through the pallid rift, the first pale opening, that seemed at first hardly enough for a trickle from the sun. It was just a small opening, it requires nothing. Just in the beginning, just a little, as Mother says, just a little fissure in your resistance. You will feel how the grace can just enter and fill your life. So here also, there is in the sky just a little crack in the wall of darkness. And it is factually true that the night is darkest before dawn. Man is at his dullest when he is about to change. Difficulties are at their worst before a new age can manifest. It's a play of powers. Then through the pallid rift that seemed at first hardly enough for a trickle from the suns, outpoured the revelation and the flame. Now the glorious light comes the new illumination, the new manifestation. The brief, perpetual sign recurred above. It's a kind of a play of opposites. And he says brief, and then he says perpetual. Because it comes again and again, but dawn is very short. Opportunities are given to us to change. We have to catch them when they come. You may miss your chance. It will come back much later. Life is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow, to change. If we don't take that opportunity, we lose it. And we have to wait a long time. It will come back again, and again, and again. The eternal is eternally patient. But when it comes, dawn itself is not a very long moment. Dawn is short. Dawn is replaced by day. It doesn't last long. It's just that revelation comes, the promise comes, and we have to be absolutely alert, aware that there is something being given to us. The blessing comes, it's always there. If I don't receive it, I won't feel it, I won't respond to it. For the present, I don't get anything. I've lost my chance. Life is full of such experiences. We have so many things that come given to us all the time. Actually, at every moment is an opportunity. An opportunity to open to a new light, a new consciousness, a new vision. I don't have it, well, I lose it. I lose that chance. So that chance is gone. I have to wait for the next chance. Now, a glamour from unreached transcendences, something that has come from far beyond, a beauty, a glory, the sun, symbol of the supreme light. And that's why the glamour from unreached transcendences, iridescent with the glory of the unseen. Iridescent comes from the word iris. Iris is the goddess of the rainbow. So the one becomes the many lights. All the beautiful and complex possibilities of beauty and marvel and wonder. It's not just one single mode of manifestation. The divine manifests himself in everything at all time, shining in all forms. A message from the unknown immortal light, ablaze upon creation's quivering edge. You have to look up and see at the edge of creation and the transcendent. To rise to your highest peak, the horizon is where the sea and the sky, or the earth and the sky meet. It's a place where man and God can meet if you are at that moment, at that peak. That light is there, that promise and grace is there. Dawn built her aura. So she is, here the main sentence is this. Dawn built her aura of magnificent hues and buried its seed of grandeur in the hours. Because ours is time. Dawn brought in all the promise and all the prophecy of the future, wonder, perfection, marvel. Every day there is a new possibility of opening. It's magnificent, and it is planted in the soil of the earth. So earth and man do not have to remain the way they are. The seed is planted so that it will grow. Man is here so that he may grow into something more than man. A new promise, a new guidance, a new illumination is sent to us all the time. Provided we recognize it make use of it. You don't always comes to go. An instant's visitor, the Godhead shone, just for a while, like a herald. A herald comes to announce the coming of the person who is really supposed to come. She is the herald. She is there. She announces a new consciousness, a new possibility, a new light can manifest. And on life's thin border, a while the vision stood and bent over earth's pondering forehead curve. Because she's at the horizon. So earth in her circling, she's not moving in a straight line, she's always circling. And so in a little, you might say, just for a little while, if she were always open to the light, she would see the light is always there. But because she's always moving towards the light, away from the light, just for a little while the perception can come, the promise comes. If we are concentrated, pondering, the center of concentration is your forehead. So that promise comes, the blessing comes on earth's forehead curve. Okay?